Hello and welcome back to Join Dota League Season number 5, European Division 2 here on HeflaTV 1. This is going to be Game 2 of a best of 2 series between XPC Romania and BeneD plus 5. I'm GrandisV, and once again I'll be joined by Mikelorus.
Man, Ben plus five had a couple of great plays. The clockwork play up until like the final moments was pretty darn good. They had their positioning most of the time decent, but I don't know, just sniping the axes, tranquil boots, just seemingly not enough for Bennett plus five, and XPC just also seemingly a little bit ahead of Bennett plus five as far as just playstyle is concerned. We'll see if Bennett plus five can rally. And looking at the previous game, I certainly think it is a high possibility that they can. But this is going to be a much different game. We have different bans. Viper and Io going to take early bans, but Axe is going to be banned out this time, letting Chen and Shadowfiend, previous first bans, get through. And XPC are going to waste no time grabbing those.
Yeah, and I think they should be very happy with what they've gotten. Even though Axe is a very scary hero, is he really as scary as Chen and Shadowfiend? Honestly, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. You can only ban so many heroes, and the ones that are left through are going to be snagged up. First pick Juggernaut, we'll have to see if it's going to do enough work for BeneD plus 5, but out of the most recent openers that have been popularized, Chen and Shadowfiend are incredibly scary. Again, we're going to see a sniper.
So I like the Chen Shadowfiend opening. It's well, first of all, I haven't casted this opening in quite a long time, so that's a little bit of a refreshing start. It's decent versus what Bennett plus five have. The only concern being that these two heroes typically tend to be very fragile. If you jump on them with any sort of blink, a Slark or something like that, then they'll usually just crumble. But Juggernaut Sniper will sometimes struggle to really do that, as they themselves have to be a little bit more careful. They don't really have get out of jail free cards, especially not that sniper. So both sides picking equally fragile heroes, and in that situation, we'll see who is going to have better positioning. I think that's probably going to be what this game comes down to.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, both teams lacking convincing ways to start fights, but it's probably going to come out in the next couple of picks. So we have some of those big ticket initiators, and already we have one of them banned out. Brewmaster again going to take the ban for BeneD plus 5.
Yeah, so it's a reasonable ban from them. I think a lot more reasonable in this start, having absolutely no crowd control effects for that split. And if XBC want to run this Chen Shadow Fiend, then they can play this game very aggressively, and that's where you really want your Brewmaster ultimate to come into play. So that ban probably the best they could possibly ask for. Probably going to see some more support hate from XPC. Last time it was a support and then Slark to be banned out. A little bit less likely that's going to happen this game, but if it's still just double supports being banned out, that will be fine. Either side should have Ancient Apparition in consideration, I think. It's really good up against the heals on either side, and, well, you have a whole bunch of range heroes that just adds the synergy.
For now, BeneD plus 5 will ban out the Queen of Pain, and although it's a decent ban in its own right, there's still a lot of very high-profile heroes left inside the pool. If not for the Ancient Apparition, you have Venge and Batrider at the ready. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see XPC ban out the Venge and pick up the Bat, or any combination of those three.
Yeah, just mix them all together. We have the Venge being banned out. Queen of Pain actually going to be banned out as well. Maybe either side going to look towards the Clockwork. Again, both sides are kind of low on initiation right now, but it seems like XPC, with a Chen and now a Lion, they can get around the lack of initiation just by having a brute force early game kind of team. And it looks like that's what they're angling towards.
Yeah, well, with the Lion now at the ready, they are primed to have some very aggressive supports, and if they do get off to an early start, having that Blink Hex initiation is really darn good. Very hard to match with most other heroes, so we'll just have to see if it pans out for XBC or if they'll stick to that plan. For now, it's BeneD plus five's turn to pick, and well, we'll just have to see what they settle on. Ancient Apparition we were talking about earlier seems that it would be pretty darn good, but if not for the A, what do you think they'll pick?
Well, they definitely need crowd control in some regard. Ancient Apparition is more so in the damage output. There's the initiation from BeneD plus five. Looks like they're leaving their support picks to last, and you could bet there's going to be a fifth band support from XPC. But this is a reasonable way to go. Again, if you get on top of the Shadow Fiend and Chen with the Clockwork, then most likely you're going to be able to kill them off. Battery Assault is just so ridiculous, and it buys a lot of space for the Sniper and Juggernaut just do their thing. So though I don't really like it when teams grab their first three cores as their first three picks, this is a pretty reasonable way to go in response to what XPC have.
Fair enough. So for now, we'll just wait out as XPC Romania decide on this next couple of picks. For them, it would be really nice to have something to start fights akin to the Clockwork. What that is still up for Debate. We'll just have to see. As far as how these lane matchups are going to end up shaking down, it's pretty safe to assume that we're going to see Shadow Fiend versus Sniper in the mid. And really, it kind of feels like that matchup is almost dictated purely by the supports, and Chen and Lion more than capable of killing out that Sniper. XPC will snag up the Bristleback next.
All right, so they have a jungler hero for the Chen. Now Bristleback is most likely going to take to the offlane by himself, matching either the Juggernaut or Clockwork there in lane, and both of which will be fine for the Bristleback. Not fantastic, but doable. As you said, the mid lane is going to be determined by these supports, and Lion Chen is honestly a little bit hard to top. Like Chen brings the muscle, and Lion brings the disable, and that's exactly what you need versus the sniper. And Shadow Fiend brings the damage. So I mean, you got everything there. It's the whole package. And well, BeneD +5 this time looking for those melee supports is a little bit less attractive because they do have two melee heroes already. But so I really like the combination of Earthshaker with Sniper. I feel like if you're looking at the mid lane, that is probably the best combo you can get.
Instead, they'll snag up a Shadow Demon for them. Not sure how I feel about this hero here. It's not really setting anything up for BeneD +5, and it kind of feels like it's almost purely going to be used defensively. And up against what XPC are bringing to the table, it doesn't really feel like it's the best of defensive supports. They'll get the Lina banned out from them, and rightfully so, would have worked nicely with the Clockwork and the Shadow Demon both, but it really feels like they need to pick up a fifth that very heavily benefits from this setup, or else the pick is almost wasted.
And maybe going for a lightning heavy Leshrac build, expecting a lot of pushing. If you're a BeneD +5, you just really want to set up with that Shadow Demon. Also looking towards Mirana and Kunkka. Maybe a little bit more so Mirana than Kunkka in this particular game, but usually you just don't grab a Shadow Demon just because. I don't see anything that they could actually purge in this game, so that's definitely not it. As a response to Omni Knight, Shadow Demon's fine, but in this game they're definitely looking to have some sort of lane combo, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be that Mirana.
Probably so. BeneD +5 will go ahead and ban out the Batrider, and I think that's more than reasonable. XPC have plenty of flexibility when it comes to how they actually shake down these lanes. It's actually going to be a last pick Storm Spirit for them. Safe lane Storm mid SF and off lane Bristleback, it seems.
Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty nice setup for XPC. All their lanes are more or less self-sufficient. None of these heroes really need that much help up against what BeneD +5 are going to throw at them, which of course frees Lion up to do more roaming and Chen, of course, to do more farming if he really wants to. So this is a really strong lineup for XPC, and honestly, their weakest part is probably the super early game, but even then, it's really strong. So yeah, XPC, they just have a really balanced lineup. The Shadow Fiend and his lack of health is really the only weakness I see of XPC's side, but they have more than enough to protect him.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I do quite like XPC's lineup. All things considered, they have good ways to start fights throughout the game, decent amount of carry, and good control throughout most portions of the game. And even if the very early game doesn't pan out exactly how they'd want, they have ways to come back from that. It's by no means an all-in lineup. For BeneD +5, it really feels like when they get those leaps in power, when Sniper gets a first major item, Clockwork gets his hook shot, you get level 6 for Juggernaut too, that they really need to accomplish something big with those, or else their lineup doesn't really feel like it meshes well together. Maybe this fifth pick will mesh it all together, however.
Yeah, the late game for Sniper and Juggernaut is pretty darn good, but you're up against three like super late game heroes in the Bristleback Storm and the Shadow Fiend, who, if all goes well for XPC, will be getting just as much farm as your Sniper Juggernaut, if not more. So it's definitely up to BeneD +5 to perform a little bit more in the early stages. Whereas XPC, they can play it as fast or as slow as they want. Again, Chen can either take his creeps and go push with them, or he could just stack up and just Wild Wing farm, and that will be fine as well. BeneD +5 grab a Skywrath Mage, and that's good to get up against the Storm Spirit, like really good up against him. But now, like, you have a Shadow Demon who's just kind of there, and I don't really know if the Shadow Demon would have really fit in with the rest of the heroes right now.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like the SD's doing very much of anything. Defensive disruptions are not to be underestimated, but I'm not sure if it's really worth picking him for that. I hope that BeneD +5 proved me wrong, but it really kind of feels like he's on an island by himself. Either way, we'll go ahead and introduce our teams. BeneD +5 on the Radiant side of the map. We are going to have the Skywrath Mage played by, oh my goodness, I'm not going to pronounce this right.
Ooh, Skywrath Mage?
Yeah.
Mackie?
Mackie?
Macy?
Okay, we'll stick
I don't
with
like
that.
KG9 is just like extra, right? That's
Is it?
a G9 is extra. So it's Maseek. Macy? I just called him Mackie because that's a lot easier for me. I don't care.
Fair enough. Team Arrhenius is going to be playing on the Clockwork. Sniper in mid by Tabushka, going to make a return performance on this hero. And bottom lane, Juggernaut by TDS. And, well, our last support, where did you end up? Shadow Demon by Robert.
All right, so meeting the Juggernaut on the bottom lane is going to be Synergy on the Bristleback. Over towards mid, probably going to be the Shadow Fiend played by Arise Zizu. He's going to be handling the jungling Chen with Keanu on the Storm Spirit with Razevan on the Lion. So looks like it's pretty standard laning across the board for the XPC side. In any case, it's going to be what looks like an offensive tri-lane, really, from BeneD plus 5. I guess you could abuse the fact that Chen is only going to be there sometimes, and Storm Spirit is not really the best up against this type of lane, but do you really want to risk getting crashed by Chen and just getting overwhelmed by, beefy neutrals?
Yeah, I don't really feel it. Honestly, if this were maybe like a Lina Shadow Demon or Leshrac Shadow Demon, maybe they can find a couple more kills, but right now it feels like they might be lacking a little bit of damage, or at the very least until they get level 3, their killing potential really doesn't feel like it's that high. We'll have to see how this is going to work out. They'll open up by blocking off the large camp, denying pull-throughs coming out from the Dyer's side, and, well, as far as laners are concerned, Storm Spirit up against the tri-lane isn't going to be having a great time, and his supports aren't going to be there for 100% of the game. So we'll just have to see. I think a lot of this relies on Zizou to see where he ends up settling down. They might be able to catch out Lion off guard. It looks like he didn't expect it either. Shadow Demon Disruption. They have some concussor shots to lay through. He's dropping low, but isn't low enough. He turns for an Earth Spike. They just need one more auto attack to finish him off. He's going to juke through the trees. Now under his tier 1 tower, it looks like Razevan's going to be alive, at least for the next couple of seconds, and, well, he'll survive. They don't have a salve in this lane, and lane's probably going to head all the way back to base, or maybe he relies on his last tango.
It could have been worse. Clockwork decided to grab Cogs as his first level, just in case. Oh, they're going to actually go in again, this time for the Storm Spirit. Cogs are there, and Key has really no one to help him out here. This time, with the additional CC of the Cogs, they will draw First Blood, and it will be the Shadow Demon to draw it. I guess if their plan was to run this offensive tri-lane the entire time, then Disruption to Cogs is a decent combo. And they're doing really, really well against this top lane of XPC, but still, it's a matter of time before Chen decides to rotate into somewhere else. This top lane has to be doing a lot better than just one kill if they want to sit pretty up on this top lane.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start for them, but we'll have to see if they're able to keep up this aggression. For now, Zizou has been pretty quietly farming through. He doesn't have his level 3 yet, and doesn't have his 3rd creep at his disposal already, but he does have a Dark Troll Summoner, which will allow him to get through these camps pretty quickly. Smoke up in mid from the Skywrath as well as the Shadow Demon. Looks like they're going to set their sights onto Arise, and he's not in a great position to actually receive this gank. We'll have to see. Boots first on the Shadow Demon might just secure this kill. They'll open up with the Disruption and follow up with a couple of shrapnels, slow him down with the Concussor Shot, and it looks like Arise is completely dead, can't do anything. Tries to turn for a raise, but doesn't get it off.
Yeah, very easy gank onto a very, very soft hero, and that's, again, the weakness of XPC's draft is that their early game is going to be marred by the fact that they are so very easy to burst down and gank. So getting already 2 ganks off, and the ganking train is looking like it's going to rotate all the way down to the bottom lane. Killing off Storm Spirit and Shadow Fiend is one thing, but killing off a Bristleback is quite another. So though they might want to try to go for this, it will be very, very difficult to make that happen. If they don't, though, they already secured a nice little advantage for their top and mid lanes, so these 2 supports can just go back and just do standard support stuff, stack, pull, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think so too. Even though it's not the most traditional of ganking supports, it seems to be working out. Tabushka, they'll try to gank him with the Dark Troll Summoner as well as with the Satyr Tormentor, but just not able to find that range on the Chen. And Sniper going to make himself scarce. He'll survive that gank attempt.
All right, so Chen, right now, he's level 3, but definitely getting that gank or failing that gank is going to be hurting him. That also was a smoke gank that didn't actually do anything. He's going to try again, but if he runs into the Shadow Demon Skywrath Mage, then, well, he's going to be on the receiving end of a lot of pain. Fortunately for him, his creeps won't be disrupted as well. Like, his creeps can still do things while the Chen is in that bubble, so Chen is going to be fine for right now, and, well, top lane Storm Spirit getting a little bit more free time to farm himself up. The supports on BeneD plus 5, yeah, they're pretty dangerous right now, but the other lanes just inherently aren't really doing fantastically, with the exception of bottom, which is doing slightly better, but even then, it's not really crushing the Bristleback.
Yeah, it feels like, for the most part, this game is more or less completely a wash. Even with the kill score being 2-0, XPC have managed to find a little bit more out of the map. And I'll chalk that up mostly just to the jungle factor. They're getting a little bit of extra experience in gold that way, and they'll continue to do so. BeneD +5 by no means have a commanding lead in this game. Shadow Fiend farming away, Storm Spirit farming away, and, well, even the Bristleback to a certain extent is having an okay time. He'll TP out from a gang from the Shadow Demon as well as Scarith combination, but, well, he's still getting a decent amount of experience and a little bit of farm here and there.
Yeah, he just blew a smoke from BeneD +5. They were waiting in the Roshan pit, and then once minute 4 hit, which is also the time the rune spawns, they decided to smoke up and then leave. I thought they would just stick around and see what the rune was and then maybe see about it later on, but Synergy breaks that. He actually ends up dodging the concussive because of that disruption, so he could have just walked out of there, but instead deciding to take the express way out is going to blow the next aggression attempt from BeneD +5, and they really need to be playing this very aggressively, as we said before in the draft, and it's so far been that they've been playing it as aggressively as they can, but what they can do is just not good enough. They need more kills right now.
Well, we'll have to see when they're actually able to do that. XPC seem content to just sit back and chill. Zizu now with 3 creeps up and running. Centaur, the Satyr, as well as a Dark Troll Summoner. Pretty much the ideal 3 if you want to go for a push. A decent mix of CC, some nice auras at your disposal too. We'll just have to see where he actually ends up going. I think this tier 1 tower up towards top should be a pretty likely candidate for that if they want to go for a push.
It's also possible they could just sit on this Chen for a little while longer, because he's farming very, very fast, and BeneD +5, their supports have been off to a good start, but since these 2 kills, they actually haven't gotten anything. Like, one last hit from the Shadow Demon, and that's it, whereas the Chen has been farming the jungle as per Chen's what they usually do. So XPC, they're just gaining a slow and steady farm advantage in their last hits, and they're going to smoke up with the Chen army and the line and look towards possibly the bottom lane, where TDS is out of mana, and that is not where you want to be as a Juggernaut, or really any hero, when you're alone versus a Bristleback and with enemy heroes coming in.
Yeah, even if he has mana for the spin, they have the net to lock him down and a decent amount of physical damage coming out from the Quills. I think the Jug is just straight up dead here. Whether he knows it or not, it's a different story. The supports are looking up for a gank. In the meantime, up towards the Storm, we'll have to see who dies first, and it looks like that person's going to be the Jug. Trading blows with Synergy, he's completely screwed. They don't need anything more than just a little bit of extra damage, and the Storm survives up towards top with level 6. Not an easy gank.
And Bristleback's going to get the expressway back home, so once again, he's going to be, this time helping his team a little bit more directly and getting that Juggernaut killed, but also he'll be back soon enough. And as you said, Storm Spirit grabbing level 6 is going to make it so that ganking him is very hard. They don't actually have level 3 on the Scarith Mage. If they had Seal, a lot easier, but now that they do, it's nice, but it's a little bit too late for what they really need it for.
Tier 1 tower down towards bottom. They're going to be taking a lot of pressure from XPC. They'll bring in their heroes and 4s. They have a rainbow of TPs coming through as Scarith Mage and company are going to look to make a fight happen. Juggernaut doesn't find anybody to isolate, doesn't have the Omni Slash. Instead, they're going to open up in the sidelines with the disruption onto Zizu. They're going to throw an Arcane Bolt into him, but a nice Earth Spy catching out too is going to mean they're able to kill the Scarith Mage to begin with. Zizu trying to juke away from the Blade Fury of TDS, but it's not going to happen. Except the Clockwork. He doesn't have mana for the hook shot, but now bottling up he does. Going to point blank it into the Bristleback as they snipe off the Lion in the sidelines. Synergy dropping low, but is it low enough? With the cool stacks onto the Clockwork, they don't really want to pursue this Bristleback. Just a little too prickly for them. But still, BeneD +5 find themselves with 2 support picks. The Storm Spirit's close, but it doesn't look like he wants to engage.
Yeah, they do have to bring in everyone to try to make that fight, and though it does go pretty well for them, it was a slight misplay by the Lion, I think. He was trying to get out from the Blade Fury, and at the same time, his Chen buddy was juking in the exact same way, like they were running in exact parallel lines. So Juggernaut had a free spin the entire time, and he didn't even need the Omni Slash to secure that last kill. Bristleback, fortunately for XPC, does get to live, but Chen loses his life and his entire creep army, and they don't get the tower. It's the only good part there is that for XPC, they don't lose any of their cores, and it takes BeneD +5 all of their heroes to make that fight happen, but that's like a marginal advantage or a marginal win for XPC there.
Yeah, definitely so. Shadow Fiend has been pretty quietly farming away, although he doesn't have jungle stacks to fall back on since he has had a Chen farming up inside those camps throughout the majority of this game. He's still sitting on a decent chunk of gold. What do you think Arise is going to be building this game?
Well, you have a Chen on your team, so maybe you're not going to be going for that straight mech. It looks like it's Staff of Wizardry for Arise, so it is going to be that Yule Scepter setup, and you could burst down mostly everyone from BeneD +5 with that Yule combo, Maybe not Juggernaut and Clockwork, but hell, even at a certain point, Clockwork might just be insta-gibbed.
Yeah, I think Jug is the only one that will be immune to that because he has the spin immediately, unless you have a way to CC him other than that Yules. But yeah, this Shadow Fiend is going to be hitting like a truck, with or without any major damage items. Just getting that one-shot kill with the Requiem is pretty amazing. Up towards top, Chen and his creep army going to take a tier 1 tower with some help from the Storm and the Lion. And no real pressure is going to be matched by BeneD +5. They put a little bit of chip on the tier 1 tower mid, but that's about it.
Now we got to smoke up towards the mid lane for BeneD +5. After taking down that one tier 1 tower, they want more. Quick side note though, Shadow Fiend, his Eul Scepter is also going to be amazing defensively up against Assassinate and Omni Slash, which the Eul Scepter brick walls both of them. The smoke gank from XPC is going to be wrapping around. They might run towards this Clockwork, or they might wait until some poor sucker reveals their face over in the mid lane. Looks like that poor sucker is going to be Tabushka. Or not. They're going to go up towards top. They want someone. They're probably going to get someone, and that someone is going to be the Clockwork. Can't even get the cogs out. He gets pulled back. Will get hexed up, spiked up. They wasted one stomp, but they don't even need the other. They'll use it anyway to get the kill, and a kill is a kill. Clockwork is going to fall.
Yep, and well, XPC going to connect, and all the meantime, Shadow Fiend's been farming up throughout the other side of the map. We have Mask of Madness, freshly picked up by the Juggernaut. We'll have to see if he's able to isolate a target to get that Omni/kill that he really like to have at his disposal. Right now, 1-1-1. He's not doing poorly on the Jug, but also not having that great impact.
Yeah, mostly because no one has really been touching his lane. Like, they've rotated a couple of supports there once, XPC, but aside from that, it's just been the Bristleback alone, and now that he has, well, the makings of a Vanguard, but the Omni Slash won't even get a guaranteed kill on the Bristleback. Even if it was a level 2 Omni Slash right now, it won't be enough to kill him off. So Synergy is going to be fine to tank that up. And while the rest of XPC, they're just wandering around the map, getting a couple of kills here and there. Chen has a decent army, although, his Centaur is kind of banged up. They could start looking for a couple more towers or a couple more smoke ganks, depending on what they find first. It looks like it might be a smoke gang. Zizu's going to grab that smoke.
Yeah. Well, if he finds an opportunity to use it to save a teammate, Hand of God is going to keep all of those creeps up at tip-top shape. Tier tower down towards bottom is going to end up biting the dust, as Juggernaut's going to make quick work of that, chopping away. And, well, for now, neither team has found that opening to actually look for a kill. They'll ping out the Skywrath Mage in mid, and it would be pretty easy if they actually get the jump. Storm Spirit close, they might be able to snipe him, since they do have a lot of nice vision inside the mid lane. Setting up for this kill, they know Skywrath Mage is alone. He's going to be down in a heartbeat. 2 TPs coming in from the sidelines. They do silence up Kiana, but with the Hand of God as well as a Hex onto the Juggernaut. Can he actually get in range for the Omnislash? He does, but a zip away is going to keep the Storm safe. Can actually secure that kill, is on the back lines. They'll continue chasing. Juggernaut now in a bit of a compromising position, going to get Earth Spiked in, jumping from the Clockwork, going to isolate the Lion as well as the Centaur. Assassinate flies through. Lion going to hit the dirt. The Centaur's looking for some stomps. Can they actually find them? Looks like the answer to that question is no. Bristleback now joins the fray. Going to go up twice. The sniper is over on the sidelines. They kill off the Shadow Demon. One disruption was thrown, but that's about it in a very hectic fight. They'll kill off one of the Centaurs, but it looks like that's about it. But Synergy's dropping low. Silenced up. Isn't looking too healthy, but then again, they can't chase with the Shadow Fiend, as well as Chen close by. All things considered, I think that's a 2-for-1, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just a 2-for-1, killing off the Skywrath and then the Shadow Demon afterwards, where Rise finally decided to show up. He was off in the top lane, I think. So XPC, all things considered, get away from there as not banged up as they could have been, as the Storm Spirit was able to not only live, but he also got a kill on the way out. Juggernaut Omnislash used, but the Omnislash doesn't really do anything when you're ball lightninged up, and the chasing power with Mask of Madness and Phase Boots, though very high, isn't quite enough to catch up to a Storm Spirit when he has a Lion and a Chen right behind him. So XPC, they disengage decently enough. I think they lose most of their creeps. They keep most of their creeps alive, so it's a pretty nice win there for XPC, as they once again don't lose any of their core heroes.
Yeah, I think the Chen only lost one Centaur, and that was about it. And that's pretty easily replaced, and honestly didn't give them that much gold. I think that's like, what, 70 for the Skywrath Mage? Not really impactful much at all. Eul Scepter is freshly picked up by the Shadow Fiend, and we'll have to see if he's able to find that flashy kill. But for now, XPC should also be pretty happy just sitting back and farming for a little bit longer, as they wait for Bristleback and Storm Spirit to pick up their first items.
We have a Vanguard completed for Bristleback, and, well, there it is. He's going to finish off the rest of his tri-stack, I think, of Ancients. So this guy is going to be pretty tanky and therefore doing a lot of damage. They just need a way to get in now, and if Storm Spirit is going to be that person, then he just has to make sure to for the most part, try to dodge the Skywrath Mage. And if he does that, then XPC will be able to fight very well after that initiation. So things are looking pretty good for XPC. They have all 3 core heroes more or less where they want them to, and BeneD+5 so far haven't really been able to do much with these double Mask of Madnesses on both the Juggernaut and Sniper. This is still the point where they're the strongest, BeneD+5 and their heroes, but if they don't do anything right now, then, well, all that advantage is going to slip away.
Yeah, definitely so. Clockwork thought about going for the Shadow Fiend, but without any vision behind the SF, isn't going to be willing to go for that one, even though he was alone. That's something that their team isn't privy to, so going to make the conservative play. There's going to be an assassinated mid, and Arise wasn't looking at the status bar or decided not to use it. Either way, he has plenty of bottle charges to keep himself up at a decent amount of HP. Roshan is going to be spied by XPC, but that's about it. Both teams are just going to be content to farm up on their side of the map and take some jungle camps here or there.
It's going to be really hard for either side to take that Roshan because of the initiation power of the Storm Spirit and of the Clockwork, who, by the way, are engaging up towards top. Spike after a bar landing in, Finger of Death from Razevan. Very easy kill there for the XPC side. Took a lot of mana from Keanu, but hey, they will be able to back off. And knowing that that Clockwork is, in fact, off the table, they might want to go for Roshan right now. They have Chen in position, but no one else is really there. And BeneD+5, they're smoking on their way here. So if a fight does break out, BeneD+5 without their Clockwork are going to be at a small disadvantage to start things off, and it looks like Roshan is going to be attempted, but by the time this actually culminates into a full-on fight, the Clockwork will be alive.
Well, we'll have to see. This is a pretty darn fast Roshan by them, with the Goose starting to stack up. Shot going to fly through into the pit, and they silence up Arise. The Omniscience flies through and obliterates the poor Chan. Tedious looking for some right clicks. The disruption's actually going to be mistimed, dodging a lot of the ultimate from the Mystic Flare, but doesn't end up mattering much at all. The Clockwork jumps in, bounces back Synergy, and trying to man-fight as best he can, go and get point-blank assassinated as he falls down. We do have a buyback from the Chen, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much, and let's see if he's going to lose his life. Haste on the Clockwork is incredibly scary. They get some vision for the Sniper to shoot him a couple of times with the headshots, as well as with the cogs flying through. That's going to be a 3-0, including the dieback from Chen.
Man, it's not even the Clockwork that was the most problematic in that Roshan pit. They messed up the Disruption, Mystic Flare. I mean, they dodged the Mystic Flare. They're going to jump in, snatch the Aegis. Storm Spirit is going to lose it immediately. He doesn't have any mana to get out of here, so he's going to try to get up again. That won't work. I think he might be able to escape this time, but still he grabs the Aegis, denies it to the enemy side, and will make his way out of there. But the initiation there from BeneD+5 was pretty much 100% thanks to the Shrapnel from Sniper. It, together with the creeps of Chen, prevented XPC from actually getting outside of this Roshan pit. And if you're sitting in the Shrapnel, it does end up doing a hell of a lot of damage, so it's pretty much just a shooting gallery from there on out for the Sniper. His Shrapnel pretty much won them that entire fight, and that's something that XPC couldn't really prepare for because the Storm Spirit wasn't in a good position to disrupt that Sniper.
Yeah, well, that's going to immediately transition into that Roshan for BeneD+5, and now a Tier 1 tower in mid, and honestly, I don't think there's much stopping them here. Tier 1 tower up towards top looks easy enough to take, and I wouldn't be surprised if they swing up there.
Yeah, that tower is looking pretty tasty, and those are the type of fights that you would really expect from BeneD+5 at this point in time. Having 2 heroes with Mask of Mana is going to give them a large, kind of risky reward, and it worked out very well this time, but hell, they could also take down towers very easily with the amount of damage that they're putting out, and, well, it's not going to be top lane right now, although Tedious is heading towards there. He is going to be met by a Lion who's going to have a Blink, and a Shadow Fiend with a Blink as well. That is a lot of damage for anyone, and he actually is going to die if he gets Blink hexed. They're going to back off.
Well, looks like Lion going to think better of purchasing up that Blink Dagger over at the side shop, and instead going to fly that out to him on the couriers. So at least for now, Juggernaut has escaped death. There's a double damage rune spawned up towards top. We'll have to see who snags that one, but, well, looks like it's just going to be tower destructions all around. Tower down towards bottom fell to the Dire. Mid tier 1 tower is going to be destroyed by the Storm Spirit, and all things are equalizing for either side, even with this Aegis. Hookshot going to be messed up towards top, and Shadow Fiend going to be able to blink away. Looks like that's going to be about all she wrote. Tier 1 tower up towards top. Looks like it's slated to fall, but at the very least XPC don't lose any heroes.
And they also have drawn the line out for the push down towards bottom, so they're going to try to force BeneD+5 back. It will be a tier 1 tower down, but it's a tier 1 tower. At this point in the game, it's okay just sacrificing that. They have their Chen incoming. They know that the Clockwork just used his hook shot, so he won't have that one up. They're going to double TP out. Shadow Fiend looking for an interruption will cancel the Skywrath mages. Also, Sniper left behind here awkwardly. RazeVan gonna blink right into Cogs, though. Those are two heroes trapped in a corner. Arise, though, pretty much gonna be soloed by the Skywrath mage. He's gonna turn around, will get the kill, and looks like he will try to get out. That will... Everything will miss, actually. The rockets and the shrapnel will all miss. Lion will trade his life for the Skywrath, but Chen still has creeps here. No more mana to stomp, but they do have the Storm Spear coming in. Big ball lightning onto Dabushka. Will end up getting that kill, although will get bumped back for right now. There's nothing really that Dabushka can do except to fight to the death, and it will actually survive. The Battery Assault coming in huge. Zizu also will try to get the kill, but he'll fall as well. Battery Assault coming off cooldown at the perfect time. At the same time, bottom lane, looks like Bristleback got Omni Slash by the Juggernaut. That fight went disastrously bad for XPC. They should have gotten that sniper kill most of the time. They will, but this time it just doesn't work out.
They do lose one on the retreat Yan with the Yule Scepter combination and Clockwork. Unfortunately missed that, but Arai is going to be able to make quick work of that clock. You can argue whether or not the headshot changing it from a mini stun to the slow, is a buff or a nerf, but in that situation, really huge and actually allow him to win that fight with the Storm Spirit. Even if he dies there, it would still look okay for BeneD +5. Definitely would have been a lot better for XPC, but in the end, it's more or less a complete disaster.
Yeah, man, just trying to throw two heroes into that sniper who is teleporting out, surviving with the Mask of Madness, lifesteal, and some pretty high damage output. But if you ignore the Clockwork, and if the Battery Assault just has one target, then it's going to be doing a lot of damage. So the XPC side, they make the right decision, I think, to try to go for that sniper, but they just don't respect the Clockwork enough, so it ends up turning into the wrong decision. And also having this Shadow Fiend pretty much zoned out from the fight from the very beginning because of that Skywrath Mage, not really the way you want to start it from XPC. Again, that's the type of fight where you want to have your Bristleback, but I guess he just had his hands full down on the bottom lane, and well, if he got that tower, it would have been a lot better, and XPC would be sitting in a decent position. But they end up losing the top 1 tier tower, and they give away a whole bunch of kills as well.
Yeah, well, for now, things are going to slow down a little bit. Again, we're in a situation where neither team has a commanding lead, so it's not clear who's going to actually find the next fight. And, well, XPC are going to be waiting out for this Orchid on the Storm Spirit. He's very close, and I don't think they really want to take a fight right about now.
They might not have that much of a choice. Lion might not have been spotted, actually. Okay, looks like he's going to be fine. But still, the BeneD +5 side, they have a lot of momentum right now. RazeVan is... Oh man, that could have been really bad. I think they did know that someone was there, but they won't catch him now. Looks like the bottom lane is going to be pushed. XPC going to do their best to split it out, and well, top lane, mid lane, both pushing towards the Radiant. But I think BeneD +5, if they really want to go for a push, they can just go for it. They have an Omni Slash, and at this point, Omni Slash is still a pretty darn deadly tool, and it will always be for the entirety of the game. But man, if you could just make it a 5v4 instantly, you're going to be sitting pretty.
Well, definitely so. We have a complete SNY flying out for Dabushka, or at least I think it is. Looks like that ultimate orb is for the Juggernaut, so Mantis will be the order business for him. Zipping through the jungle, Kiana is going to keep up farming, and well, BeneD +5 will have to see if they are going to go for that straight up push. Nobody's actually left their side of the map for now. Both teams have fairly defensive wards. In fact, XPC, it doesn't look like they have anything out on side of the map except for one sentry up towards top. Really, both teams kind of going at it blind. We have a smoke coming out from XPC, and let's see if they're going to be successful. If they can catch out the Jug, that would be huge.
Well, they have Blink Hex, and he will get Blink Hex. Spike is there as well. Double Raise and Finger of Death. And they didn't even need the Chen or Bristleback there, but Juggernaut is dead one way or another. That's a completed BKB for the Shadow Fiend, and they have a whole Chen army up here. Might as well go for a push. No Juggernaut means no fighting for BeneD +5, and well, his tier 2 tower was close to death anyway. They probably wouldn't have defended it, even if they did have their full 5-man team.
Yeah, very straightforward kill. They are going to initiate on the sidelines. They isolate Lion, although the Hand of God has been dropped. It's not going to save his life. Omni Slash solo onto the Bristleback's going to mop him up, and it looks like BeneD +5 are going to be fighting with the Fury. They find Zizu too, and although it cost them a Juggernaut buyback, at least for now, it's looking like it was a good trade. Can they find anything more? It doesn't look like that's the case.
Man, I feel like Chen's creeps just got completely bypassed, and now they're going to get chased down. One is even assassinated, and they're going to lose a Satyr. Nimeranos will get a Centaur here as well, so Chen losing a whole bunch of creeps, and the Lion off to the side looking for an angle to initiate. Well, just ended up getting hookshot upon. I think it's once again XPC just not respecting the damage output coming out from these BeneD +5 heroes. Sniper with this Sanj and Yasha Mjolnir was just doing so much freaking damage. So Tabushka was just, firing off, and no one from XPC could actually get close. Storm Spirit was on the bottom lane. If you shuffle Storm Spirit in for Shadow Fiend or for Bristleback or something like that, yeah, they probably could have made that fight happen, but as it stands, not possible. Now Arise is going to go into a corner, will charge the Requiem, turn around, try to kill off Robert. Here comes Keanu, will kill off the Skywrath Mage. Now they're going to go for Tabushka. That will be a kill finally onto the Sniper. And that's the type of fight they want, where Storm Spirit can actually get on top of a Sniper and kill him.
Yeah, definitely. So that's 3 down, and that's the spree of the Sniper ended. I believe it's 7 kills. He was 7-0-5 before that. I don't recall who actually picked that one up. It was the Storm Spirit, and that's pretty crucial for them. Now sitting on 2,700 gold. My goodness, Storm absolutely made bank in that last fight. We finally have a mechanism picked up by the Chan. As active as Zizu has been through the map, he really hasn't been able to find that much farm, but finally is offering that extra aura for the team.
Mid lane, Tedious, yep. He's going to get hexed up and everything. Keanu, though, is out of mana right now. Imaranos going to get in there with Hookshot, kill off the Storm Spirit, and now a couple more swipes onto Rezvan, my god, English. They're going to turn this one around, and they had no finger of death. They just thought they would kill off the Juggernaut, but Clockwork is once again there in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, definitely feels like he's been a big playmaker this game, and unlike the Clockwork we saw last, it looks like BeneD plus 5 are finding a lot of momentum for themselves, and although the Shadow Fiend is sitting on a lot of net worth, Arise hasn't been able to do that much with it. It really feels like BeneD plus 5 are getting the better half of these exchanges, mostly due to the fact that they're just finding really good counter initiations with the clock.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend can never really get close, mostly because, well, if he gets close, who's he going to get close to? The Clockwork, who's right in his face, that's not really what he wants. The Juggernaut, who's going to Omni-Slash him, also not what the Shadow Fiend wants. He needs someone to be in between him and the rest of the team, but XPC, they've never really fought with a full power side. They're going to set up for the Requiem. It's going to be blocked by the Juggernaut, but it's going to be the Clockwork to take the brunt of it. Now ball landing forward, looking for more. It's going to be the Skywrath Mage to take the focus. Sniper has a lot of freedom to fire here, but Synergy's going to get right on top of him, but tanking through an Omni-Slash is going to die before he even gets close. They will cut the Skywrath Mage in the end, but it will not be for free. Tabushka getting killed to Chen. Now they're looking towards a Rise, where Tedious and Tabushka still prepared for this fight. Rezvan going to get the Hex, though, onto Tabushka. Closing in, will kill off the Sniper, and that is exactly what they do. Looks like Tedious is going to survive, and for XPC, that could have gone a lot worse if they just, don't get on top of that Sniper, but it took a long time for them to actually do so. And now they're going to try to go for Roshan, but don't quite know if they have enough to make this a really convincing Roshan. With the regen rune, actually, they probably do.
I think they'll be able to take it. It's very fortunate that it actually respawned when it did. Kiana's going to have to back out of this pit and use that regen, and, well, now with the Chen creeps, it's going to be a lot easier for them. But yeah, as we said, that fight could have gone a lot worse for XPC, but they end up finding it and making it work. It started out really awkwardly with Storm going for a deep jump in and then ending up getting completely out of mana, but, well, it looks like they're going to secure themselves a secondary life for this Storm, and it'll be a lot better for him. Chan going to bring all of his creeps back towards base as they heal up and get ready for the next push.
And now that they have the Aegis, the pushing should be happening soon, but now that Tedious has an Eye of Scotty of all things, like, this Juggernaut is damn hard to kill. Hell, even the Sniper with his almost completed BKB is going to be next to impossible to kill. I don't think XPC can make a push happen very easily, even though they do have this Aegis. They're going to hookshot in. No, they won't. I thought I heard hookshot, but I apparently was wrong. Kiana will get out of there from the Ancients. But XPC, even if they do assemble like the Chen Dream Team with the creeps, if they have everyone barreling down the mid lane, BeneD plus 5 can initiate onto that fight with the Clockwork and come out ahead very easily.
Well, then what are they waiting for? What's the big trigger for them to actually look for these pushes, if this is just going to be a farming Aegis?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for XPC they just chill at this point. Like, the Bristleback clearly is not tanky enough to withstand the Omni-Slash. He's not really playing in such a way that is going to be, saying we have to defend our Shadow Fiend. They need to just wait and get more farm onto the Shadow Fiend and the Storm Spirit. And then hopefully just wait out the Juggernaut and the Sniper. It's not really what you want to be doing, but at the same time, they don't really have much of a choice.
Oh, fair enough. Right now, XPC are just going to farm up exactly that, but BeneD plus 5 potentially looking for a pickoff here and there. Clockwork has this 4-staff and blade mail, and honestly pretty much all you can ask for as a clock, and we'll have to see if they're able to connect with the Aegis on the Shadow Fiend. Not the ideal target to go on, especially with the team behind him. He has a full army of Chen creeps and a lion at his disposal.
And that's a lot to get through. If Juggernaut was up there, they could probably make that happen pretty easily, but right now, BeneD +5, they're just getting a little bit more farm on a couple more of their heroes, and well, it should be them just waiting out the Aegis and then going for a push of their own. Once again, if they wait for a little bit too long, the Bristleback, Shadow Fiend, Storm Spirit, they'll all get so huge, and well, they're already getting pretty big. Kiano, with that Bloodstone now completed, might be looking for a fight, but so far his mana management hasn't really been the best, and Storm Spirit's contributions haven't really been huge, so maybe playing a little bit more cautiously for XPC should be the name of the game with his Bloodstone in tow.
Fair enough. Right now, the gold advantage pretty limited towards either side. Although it's 3,000 in favor of XPC in the net worth and 2,000 in the experience, really doesn't feel like it. Honestly, it feels like it could be anybody's game, and rightfully so. At this point in the game, 3,000 net worth and experience is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's just how the farm is distributed. The Sniper and the Juggernaut have pretty much all the farm for BeneD +5, whereas for XPC it's a little more evenly distributed. They're going to jump right in. Mace is going to get jumped by Kiano. That will be one kill. Very easily done. Tedious also is going to get hexed up and spiked. He is going to try to stim. That won't work either. Kiano's going to dive forward, looking for more. He's going to get right on top of the Shadow Fiend. He will get the bubble out, but the Storm Spirit, I think, has enough mana to keep chasing. A couple more right clicks. When a blink forward from Arise, one more right click. That'll be 3 kills for XPC. They get the perfect initiation. They're looking for a little bit more. And that's one of the few times in this game that XPC have started to fight on their own terms, and it works out so well for them. If you could jump on the Juggernaut or the Sniper, they're both just going to die, and that's all going to be Razevan's job. Hookshot back in. Mikelorus wants to go for T. We have a buyback from the Juggernaut. Assassinate forward for the Chen, but the ball letting out from the Storm Spirit is going to keep him safe. Razevan caught in the back end is going to die as well. Buyback from Tedious so far not doing anything, although he really wants to get closer to Synergy to start that Omni Slash. There's going to be a full health Bristleback to deal with. Let's see if he still wants to go for it. Oh man, he still wants it. Can he actually kill it with a level 3 Omni Slash? I don't think he can. Buyback is going to be kind of wasted, but they just take a couple kills regardless.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's fine for XPC, although the tier 2 tower is defended. We'll have to see if BeneD +5 are going to be able to ride the momentum off of these 2 kills to get much more than this tier 2 tower in mid. This tier 2 is pretty much gone.
Yeah, that's not much that they can do about that. They're going to try to jump in. Tedious is going to get Force Staff out. He doesn't have a spin just yet, or an Omni Slash will spin. Not Omni Slash. Now it's Fushka caught in the front lines, right next to Synergy. Not where you want to be as a sniper, but he will disengage cleanly. Tedious still holding on to that Omni. He's going to lay down the healing ward, which so far not being focused down by anyone. Omni Slash now onto only the Shadow Fiend, which is Yule Scepter up. He still will take quite a few chops, and he will die anyway. Razevan going to get in with the Finger Death onto Tedious. Won't quite kill him off. Force Staff out. Tedious still alive, as Mikelorus will give his own life, maybe. Hookshot out? No, they're both going to survive. Oh my god, the team plays, and Tedious is just not dying. Like, can you kill this Juggernaut? I don't know if you can. Kiano's going to try with the huge ball lightning jump. Will go the wrong direction, but if he just goes again, he will get the kill. Did he see him? He definitely saw him. One more hit. I guess 2 more hits. Spinning out, and now here comes Robert. A little bit more disruption onto the Storm Spirit. He doesn't have enough mana. He's going to decide to go for the Shadow Demon instead, but he's taking so much damage, he won't even get that kill. Look at the health status for BeneD +5. Everyone is so wounded, but they're all alive.
What XPC would pay for a Zeus ulti right now? That was ridiculous. The 4-step play coming out from the Clockwork, keeping the Juggernaut alive for so long, and in the end, it really feels like they kind of got away with murder. That really shouldn't have gone as nicely as it did for BeneD +5. And even though they don't get the tier 2 tower in mid, and that's defended, it's, again, a hefty cost, this time for XPC.
Man, that is just the worst feeling in the world if you're on XPC. Everyone gets away, like pretty much all of them, 1 hit away from lethal, and that's just got to be feeling pretty damn bad. So BeneD +5 going to be walking away from that fight with not only their lives, but with a lot of experience and a lot of gold in advantage after said fight. And, well, if they could keep making those types of fights happen, then, yeah, you're going to be golden. But that is not dependable in the least. They still want this tier 2 tower, but XPC, they're probably not going to give this up without a fight. Kiano, though, now down to 4 Bloodstone charges, is going to have a tough time refilling that rock.
Yeah, definitely so. Not the ideal situation for a Storm Spirit, dying twice after picking it up and not really getting much out of it either. It is going to be a long road to recovery for XPC, rather. But still, both teams are pretty much standing each other off. We're going to be on our way towards that next item for Tabushka. Probably just going to upgrade that Maelstrom towards the Mjolnir or the Sniper. I'm not sure if he has anything on the Courier, and it looks like it is the Mjolnir recipe, so we'll have that flying out whenever he wants it or feels safe enough to do so.
Oh man, attack speed much between that Hyperstone that's going to be eventually purchased and the Mask of Madness. This guy is going to be firing I don't think this is a sniper rifle anymore. Some sort of, semi-automatic, if not fully automatic gun on the sniper's hand. So he's going to be dishing. And XPC, again, they have to get on top of the sniper and the Juggernaut. Whenever they do, it goes out. The fights go so well for them, but those times that they actually do that have been so few and far between that it just seems like they're incapable of doing it. Like, if you compare this to the last game, the Phantom Assassin of Arise was always getting on top of the sniper. But this time, he's Shadow Fiend. He can't do that without dying, so someone else has to do it, and someone else isn't doing it.
It's going to help a lot that he has a Scotty now to his name, and Shadow Fiend's still doing a decent chunk of damage, but, yeah, it really feels like SF just isn't really doing it for them. Although he's sitting on a decent amount of farm, he's not able to play the fights as he'd like to. Keanu, with a double damage rune on this Storm, is a force to be reckoned with if he can isolate anybody soon, but looks like an opportunity isn't going to present itself, at least for now.
Well, it looks like BeneD plus 5 are gearing up for a smoke. Yeah, they have purchased it. It's not flying out, so that's a little bit awkward, but don't really know what they're doing. But while they're not doing anything, XPC, they're also kind of not doing anything, so I guess we just have like a truce period or something. Roshan is going to be coming up in a rather long Roshan respawn, so it's not really going to be a huge objective for either side, but BeneD plus 5 with the Clockwork will have constant tabs over that Roshan pit.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, we'll just have to wait and see when that's actually going to happen. It's going to be a long Roshan respawn timer, and, well, I think that's only going to prove to delay this game a little bit longer. I don't think either team really wants to make a move without a second life on one of their cores.
Yeah, XPC, they'll be fine jumping up on the top lane if they find one person, but the odds of BeneD plus 5 going as a one-man unit, or I guess just solo, is so low right now that they're probably rather let this tower die than just send one hero up there, so they will have to go and defend their top lane, else XPC, they're going to get a lot of free damage in. Or BeneD plus 5, are they really going to look to make this bottom lane kind of shove turn into a push? I don't really know if that's the best decision for them. XPC, they can very easily defend this if they want to.
Yeah, I think so too. Right now, Tabushka is very far out, and he's gonna pop the BKB. I'm not sure if he was expecting a jump or whatnot, but now with the BKB down, they might be able to get this tier 2, but, well, looks like that's going to be it. Tier 2 tower down. XPC don't want to defend, and fair enough, I suppose, since they're putting a lot of pressure on the tier 3 bottom.
Oh, and the tier 3 is going to survive right now. Everyone's going to teleport back in. We have a hook shot in. Mikelorus going to catch a Rise. Van, though, going to be there. The Yule Scepter going to get the Shadow Fiend out first, but Mikelorus is going to keep giving chase. BKB is up. In the meantime, the Lion will get chopped down by the Jug, and no one else from XPC is around to help out. That was not how that was supposed to go. Even with the BKB charge being wasted by the Sniper, it still goes out really well for BeneD plus 5, as they don't really lose anything. And I'm pretty sure the reason the BKB went up was because he swapped the Mask of Madness and the BKB's positions in his inventory.
Well, fair enough. Either way, they don't lose a tower on either side, although BeneD plus 5 get more damage on that tier 2, half damage on a tier 3 is not to be underestimated. Honestly, I think that's more or less a wash. All they lose is a Lion.
Well, still, they lose something, and BeneD plus 5 are able to reinforce and get in there with their initiation, which XPC have so far struggled to do. Arise is still up in this top lane, doing what he can to just force BeneD plus 5 from pushing any other lanes, but I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time before he gets hookshot and actually killed. Like, if he keeps on sticking around this lane, especially not with any more vision up on this high ground, then Arise is, well, yeah, now he just can't stay in this lane anymore. He has to leave.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's going to do. XPC, at least for the time being, are going to be playing the split push game. Bristleback's next course of action looks to be some sort of plate mail item. Assault Grass would be wonderful for the team.
Yeah, pretty much either one of the two plate mail items would be really, really good. As long as you get some sort of survivability for the team, whether it's plus armor for yourself, minus attack speed for the enemies. Assault Crash probably better. You get a little bit more synergy there with the presence of the Dark Lord. But really, he just needs something right now. But he might not have the time of day, because here comes an Omni Slash synergy. He'll also get assassinated, and that assassination won't even land. Juggernaut going to put the Bristleback in a grave, then TP back. XPC, they're going to still try to keep up with the split push, but they're bleeding out heroes right now.
Yeah, unfortunate too. At the very least, they're going to force back some heroes coming out from BeneD plus 5 so they can't immediately go for a push. And they're doing a decent job of shoving out these lanes, but Oh yeah, they need to make sure that they don't lose so many. Bristleback is without buyback. It looks like he bought the Hyperstone before he ended up falling up towards top. Shadow Fiend uses himself defensively, but ends up falling down just the same. It cost him a BKB charge on the sniper, but more than worth it. That's 2 major cores from XPC down.
Yeah, this split pushing thing only really works when you don't have to deal with the clockwork. So they lose 2 heroes, and now Ben+5, their lane situation still isn't that great. As in they can't really go for a really aggressive push into Raxes or anything like that. But still, they're getting kills, and kills are always nice to have. They also have eyes on Roshan, so if they want to, they could go into the Roshan pit without having to worry about a Shadow Fiend, and that seems to me like it should be the easiest course of action for BeneD+5.
Yeah, very well. Right now, 50 seconds on the sidelines for the Shadow Fiend. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to make this move soon. Juggernaut going to be picking up a fresh item, and actually... that is a very, very late Sanj. I thought he was going for the man style, actually, but no, it's going to be an SNY.
Yeah, that's a first of all a good item on Juggernaut, but it's only really a good item on Juggernaut if you get it before the Eye of Scotty. The Eye of Scotty is pretty much Sanj and Yasha, except better in every way. So I don't know why you would go for a Scotty, then stop and go for the Sanj and Yasha. It's like buying a Satanic and then selling it for a Mask of Madness or something like that. It just doesn't make sense. Clockwork in the meantime is going to kill off Chen, while the rest of the team is killing off Roshan. And Kiana's going to do his best to try to push out the top lane, but that's not going to do jack except for force the sniper back. So it's another huge set of wins for BeneD+5.
Yeah, pretty much nothing else about it. Slowly but surely, they've managed to find themselves now to lead this game, and especially when it comes to their map position and ability to fight. It's pretty much zeroed out in the net worth and experience is slightly in the favor of Zippin in mid. They find the Skywrath Mage and he's completely screwed. Can't do anything about it. TDS does have the cheese. Can he actually pop it? Defensive disruption is going to buy him that time, but it might just set up for the Requiem right on top of 106 seconds on the sidelines. They obliterate the Jug and scratch that advantage for BeneD+5. XPC find themselves a big window of opportunity.
Juggernaut way too hesitant there with the Omni Slash. He could have gotten it, and it probably could have gotten a kill or two, but he decided to hold it, and he got hexed by the Lion and silenced by the Storm Spirit. Now they're going to chase down for the Shadow Demon. With the vision from the Static Remnant, they will be able to chase down and kill him off. That's 3 heroes down, and this time XPC, unlike BeneD+5 previously, are right near the enemy base. They could go for this top lane push, having only to worry about a Sniper and a Clockwork. The Storm Spirit doesn't have the most mana, but the Lion has everything he could possibly want right now. This is going to be a push that I don't know if BeneD+5 can defend, especially if the Lion decides to just blink straight in. Looks like he's going to play defensively right now, and Morales is getting the hook shot onto Synergy, which is going to put him in a cage so that the Sniper can fire away. It's not really going to do too much. Well, he's starting to take more damage. Mystic Flare as well, going to drop him awfully low. Assassinate won't kill him off, though. 50 HP he lives. Hookshot, though, will kill him off. And XPC, they can't get anything in because they lack initiation. No ball ending in. No blink hex, no nothing.
Yeah, very unfortunate. The Clockwork play throughout this game has been pretty much on point for BeneD+5, and again, it's going to be the Clock flexing his muscles. He'll be able to be crucial in that high ground defense. Getting the first initiation with the Aghanim Scepter, the cooldown being so low, securing the kill onto the Bristleback, making sure that that Jug pick isn't actually going to net any lasting structural damage on their side of the map. So we're back in status quo. Sniper very aggressively pushing out towards top, but with the Aegis, he can somewhat afford to do so. Although he is completely on an island, eventually he'll bring in some backup. Shadow Demon and Clock are heading that way now.
And now that the Juggernaut is back up, BeneD+5, they're going to be back on the aggressive, and XPC most likely will be back on their split pushing plan, as it pretty much has been the case for the entire game. They're going to catch eyes on Chen, I believe. Did that fly over? It might not have, but either way, he is up towards top, and he's going to be aggressive upon using a lot of his lightning to get himself away. There's no hook shot incoming, so they're going to let him go. But it looks like, oh, they see a courier. If that courier goes down, it's holding a sheep stick. Someone get that out of there. Okay, that could have been really bad for XPC, but instead it looks like they're just going to lose a tier 2 tower. It's a tier 2, so they probably don't care that much, but BeneD+5, they still have 2 minutes with which they could get value off of this Aegis, and it looks like they might just go into tier 3 territory here.
Yeah, going to be a pretty easy tier 2 tower push, and they still have about a minute left on the Aegis, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit longer than that, in fact, so they will be comfortable just to sit Tabushka onto the high ground, and they'll start chunking away at it. And with XPC not anywhere close or in any situation to split push, they're going to get that tier 3 drop very low. Clockwork, however, assassinated over in the sidelines by the Bristleback in the Storm, and now things are going to shambles. BeneD popped by Tabushka as he turns onto the Lion. They do have an Omni Slash, they don't even need it, just going to chop him down with Mask of Madness. There's the Omni Slash, dropping the Shadow Fiend pretty low, but with the Eul Scepter, it doesn't actually matter at all. As Sup, still in fighting shape, they'll pull back onto TDS, unveiling the Requiem. It's going to drop down Juggernaut about half damage. They'll lose the Shadow Demon, but with the cheese, and now with the healing word at the ready, TDS is still going to be fighting through. The Aegis has been procced on the snipers. He comes back to the land of the living. It is going to be slowed down, trying for the TP out, going to be denied. Double kill for Synergies. This Bristleback has just gone to town.
Man, that was looking like it was going to be pretty bad for XPC. They lose their line without having him cast a single skilled Chen the exact same way. They have to deal with the Aegis on the sniper and the cheese on the Juggernaut, but man, they just get there in the end. The Storm Spirit playing games with the Juggernaut all the while, the Bristleback just doing so much damage with his Assault Cuirass, and it works out in the end for XPC. And maybe, just maybe, it was because BeneD +5, their Clockwork, makes a very similar play to last game where he's caught way out of position. This is, well, the second time that's happened, and you can't afford to just randomly get picked off when it's 45 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it really can just be that simple. Throughout the game, the Clockwork play has been pretty good, but yeah, getting caught out definitely changes things. With the Illusion Rune, this is going to be a pretty easy tier 2 tower for XPC. They'll got the creeps, and honestly, they didn't even need to do so. Their damage was already immense. Arise is going to be sitting on a next major item, and Keanu sitting on that side is looking pretty comfortable for himself, too. XPC are coming back to this game in some sort of way. It really feels like it's still pretty even. We'll have to see who gets the initiations. It really feels like that's the tipping point.
Yeah, initiation and then numbers advantage on whoever dies first, I suppose. So Aegis is, of course, going to be huge in that regard, but it's still a long time before we see another one of those. So for right now, BeneD +5, they're down without their sniper. It looks like they're grouped up in mid, where they have pinged out the mid tier 2, which is pretty much already dead. But XPC, they can let that go if it means getting a couple more items. Assault Cuirass and the Bristleback with another 3,100 in his bank account, and Shadow Fiend with 6,600 can go for pretty much whatever he wants. XPC, they're getting quite a few items up, and BeneD +5, they're pretty much 6-slotted. These core heroes aren't really going to get that much stronger for BeneD +5. You could, make improvements, of course, but as far as huge leaps of power, XPC have a long way to go.
Yeah, maybe replace the Mask of Madness with a Butterfly on the Sniper, or a Satanic, depending on what Tabushka favors, but honestly, as far as his impact, it's pretty much at its peak, and Juggernaut, pretty similar story, although he could get, like, a Basher of Abyssal. Yeah, TDS is pretty much where he's going to stay for this game, and now I think XPC are starting to show the power of their triple core lineup effectively. Zip up top, they are going to be able to find a pull onto Tabushka. He's currently locked down, silenced up, but just not enough damage from the Storm alone. He's going to decide against it, and well, he forces out a couple of TPs, but it looks like that's going to be about it.
Yeah, he's going to get away. Nimeranos down towards bottom lane. In the meantime, looking for a pickoff onto the Bristleback, pump faking a couple of hook shots, but we'll decide against it. XPC, they're just going to buy even more space, and this has been the game plan for pretty much the past 20 minutes now, and we've seen it culminate into, well, we have Sheepstick on the Storm Spirit after that Bloodstone. Shadow Fiend is working now with an Eye of Scotty and 7k gold. Like, this split pushing plan is clearly working. All their structures are really, really healthy, at least the structures that matter. Top lane is down a third of its HP. No one really cares about that. We have a huge ball lightning into bottom, where he is looking for someone to grab, will not find anyone, but XPC, if they just wait more and just keep stalling, then BeneD +5, they're not getting anything done this entire game. It's like a clear win for XPC if they don't make any huge mistakes and if they keep on with the stall game.
Yeah, at this point, I just want to find out what Arise is going to spend his gold on. Right now, he could pretty much literally, or can he actually just buy every item in the store? Let's see what he settles on, however.
Dagon 5 requires another 500 gold, and that's the most expensive item, so he's not going to go for that, but he can't actually buy whatever he wants. He could just buy most of what he wants. And I know, it's a life of poverty, right? Key on top lane is going to kill off this top tier 3, take a little bit of damage there, but quick ball lightnings away. Free tier 3, that's not too shabby. And again, it's just all about that split push. XPC are turning into rats.
Well, we're at our Dagon 5 gold for Arise.
Okay, now he could get literally any item. I don't think it's going to be Dagon, though. I think it's a little bit too late for that.
No, it definitely is. But honestly, I don't think there's any reason to sit on 8,000 gold ever.
No, there's not. Like at a certain point, you want to have. Okay, this is where the cool new function Dota 2 is gonna come up because he has 5,600 gold surplus for buyback. With that amount of gold, you could buy pretty much any item you want. This is just gold that is actually not doing anything, at least by travels, man.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They'll smoke up, and maybe it doesn't matter as they get the Blink Axe over onto Tabushka. He's going to be pulled back and obliterated. The sniper is gone and probably going to be forced to buy back, but in the meantime, Clockwork, Skywrath, as well as the Jug going to find themselves a Bristleback, TPing back, trying to defend their base. It looks like XPC are going to be repelled after forcing out the sniper buyback. Hookshot in over in the sidelines, catches out a friendly hero, and well, they'll get Zizou in the end either way as he sticks around a little too long. They buy back on the Bristle, but I don't think that's going to be doing much.
They're going to buy back in preparation for Roshan. Unfortunately for them, it's still not quite alive yet, so I think this Bristleback buyback is going to be wasted. Whereas for the Sniper's buyback, his job right now is going to be to start contending Roshan. And in that sense, I mean, it is just buyback spent on either side, but I think the Bristleback could have held on to his. We have 6,000 gold spent on the Shadow Fiend. It's going to be a Butterfly. So now he's going to get a little bit closer to that 6 slots, but it's going to be the Storm Spirit up towards top to get jumped. He got silenced, he got hookshot, everything in the world. Storm Spirit's down for 40, Chen's down for 20, and Roshan is alive. This is a chance for BeneD +5 to grab an Aegis.
He did get the suicide off and is going to be back in 30 seconds, so the window isn't that big for BeneD +5, and they don't gain anything immediately unless they can do something in this next 20 seconds. So we'll just have to see. Roshan is up just yet, and well, this 20 seconds is going to be enough for them to take Rosh, as they just do a little too much damage with the double crits flying through red numbers everywhere over Roshan's head. Even with no minus armor, it doesn't matter.
Bushka was standing on some sort of item. Not really sure what he dropped for this, but he's going to have an Aegis either way. Nimorano's also going to now grab a cheese. So everyone at XPC, they're alive, but BeneD +5, they have 7 lives right now, effectively, if they could, of course, get the cheese off. But 6 lives is also pretty darn good. They're just going to make a straight push happen. Razevan going to jump right into Rise, prepping that ultimate as well. Tedious going to drop very low very quickly. It looks like he will barely limp away from that, however. Keanu is dropping lower even faster, though. Chabushka going to get 1 kill. However, he's going to lose 2 of his supports. Omnislash up to the side. Synergy is going to take it all this time, but with an Assault Grass, this time he's going to live. The Sniper is going to have his Aegis burned, and at the same time, Keanu is going to jump forward for the Skywrath Mage. That's going to be 1 kill. Now going for Tabushka, that's going to be 2 for XPC. It's really expensive, and it costed them some buybacks, but they're going to defend and even get the Juggernaut potentially. Keanu's going to burn a lot of his mana to try to get this Juggernaut, but he will just fall short. He has the Bristleback and the Lion coming in, but the cogs are up and they can't chase through that. But Nimranos gets tagged by Snot, and now he doesn't really have many places to go. He's going to get Hex, Blade Mail is going to wear off, and Synergy's going to lay in the beats. That's going to be the Clockwork going down. Juggernaut the only survivor, and XPC take a massive team fight. It cost them a buyback on just the Storm Spirit, actually. That wasn't too bad, and they kill off the Clockwork after having bought back, so a huge win for XPC.
I expected that to be a lot worse for XPC. After the way that fight sort of started out, buyback on the Storm, absolutely crucial there. Good Requiem coming out from the SF, and well, even though Sniper had the double life, he wasn't able to do enough with it. Once he came back, he ended up falling almost instantly. They might not lose high ground, or maybe they will. Blinking for the Hex, they find themselves a very easy pick off on the Shadow Demon. Now Tedious with no backup is going to be obliterated buyback instantly from the Storm, but they find themselves Skywrath Mage as well. All things considered, it's a 5-man wipe. And now the Juggernaut is left alone with his base, but he can't defend top racks at the very least, let alone mid.
It's like a couple of 5-man wipes. That was like buybacks galore from BeneD +5 that didn't actually do anything. Skywrath Mage's buyback actually didn't do anything, and well, Juggernaut he bought back, but you can see how much he's doing. It's, well, nothing. He's actually doing nothing. So BeneD +5, they're going to be staring down the barrel of Mega Creep soon enough. Top lane range racks will die to the creep wave. Bottom lane is going to be focused down by everyone from XPC. And it looks like their stalling ended up working. At a certain point, your Omnislash isn't going to get these, one-hit kills anymore, especially when you try to use it onto a Bristleback. He's going to try one more time. This is doing nothing. That didn't do jack. So now Tedious is going to get a Finger of Death to the Dome. Requiem for a flashy show-off kill. But with only Sniper to defend against Mega Creeps for another 120 seconds, this game is over. XPC are going to take it.
Yeah, and a clean 2-0. It seems that they just had a little bit better execution in the team fights, and that's kind of what tipped the balance in their favor. One too many pickoffs here and there, and BeneD +5 lose grip of both of these games. This one, Definitely a lot closer than game number 1, but still looking really good for them. Zipping from Giano, they're going to go on to Tabushka, pops a BKB and fights a Rise. Might be able to get this kill, not with the defensive Yules, however, and, well, Synergy coming into the backlines. He might just dive the fountain here. He'll decide against it. He's getting bashed! The basher from Sniper going to drop Synergy down to half. But no, he'll be able to run away and start bashing at the Ancient.
And if everyone from XPC just goes back to their fountain right now, they'll be fine. Nemiranos wants to go for Synergy, but suddenly he realizes there's a Shadow Fiend here who dies to Blade Mail. And Synergy might also die to this Clockwork. Nemiranos with the comebacks. It ain't over till... No, it's actually over. So, yeah, they're going to take what they can, but just 100 seconds till is a guaranteed win for XPC. But I think it's just really all about this stalling in this game. Like, XPC, they've stalled out this game for... Well, it's 54 minutes right now, so effectively working for like 20, 30 minutes of just pure split push and stalling. It pretty much doesn't get much better than that when you're working with a Shadow Fiend, Storm, Bristleback. And we said it during the draft, at a certain point, these heroes are going to get way too big for BeneD +5 to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, for now, BeneD +5 are stalling, but just look at what they have to throw. Long zip in from the Storm, cleans up the Sniper, now looking for Nemiranos. It's going to be a double kill, and that's going to be the end of some heroes' lives. They will lose their Ancient eventually, but all things considered, XPC looking pretty strong, but then again, don't count out BeneD +5. They also look good in their own right.
Yeah, they just have to find a way to actually win the game. Because they were winning the game for a great portion, but there's a big difference between winning and having won a game.
Yeah, definitely so. Thanks for watching. If you like the casting you see here, you can follow us on HeflaTV at Twitter, Facebook, and here on Twitch. Later on in the evening, we might have some more Joan Dota League, but at least for now, the stream's going to be going offline. Thanks for watching. VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke. I've been GrandisV, he's been Mikelorus, and I think that about sums up the stream. See you soon.